Well, my name's Shannon, and I'm a sophomore. I'm majoring in finance and GSComm and minoring in German and Spanish. I have worked with Freshman Council and Pillars for Carolina. I'm also on Student Senate. I serve as the finance chair for that. We've allocated nearly $120,000 this year, and we've had around $240,000 worth of requests. The budget we have is $185,000, and that is actually a good bit of the student government budget as a whole. The treasurer's budget's around $230,000 approximately, and with that, the $185,000 falls under me. I guess in my time as treasurer, and a lot of it is more of that legacy aspect, but what I want to put into place is student-run businesses. I'd like to see that on campus. A lot of our REACH schools, a lot of the Ivy League schools have a lot of student-run businesses, which I think could be really beneficial for students. It gives them practical experience. It gives them those interning opportunities inside the college life and not just during the summertime. I'm not about taking one thing and making radical changes to the whole thing. I'm talking about just small tweaks here and there to get to that point, because I believe that, you can have 1 million on hits, like in the baseball terms, and you'll run the bases, but compared to those people who get the grand slam, it's so out there. And the mentality that I'm coming in is that we're getting those base hits constantly. And that's the way I'm looking at it. And I know that treasurers have gotten burnt out in the past, but I don't see that happening. I don't know. I love being a public servant. It's just a lot of fun.
All right, I'm Lee Goble, and I am obviously a candidate for Student Body Vice President. I am a sophomore English major with hopes of becoming a high school teacher. So my platform is all about the students. Vice President runs the Senate, and that's where I want to help the students. I want to create legislation or make legislation writing easier for students. I want to better the communication between the legislative and the executive branch, and I also want to increase the response rate for our survey sampling. I am someone who, for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to give back. And I have found that public service is the best place to do that, in my opinion. Someone else may have a different opinion, but I greatly, greatly enjoy being able to serve my fellow students and the people by whom I am elected. And that is what I see as my way to give back to the greater community.
If you had to endorse Brian, what would you say?
What would I say to endorse him?
If you were to endorse him. You could also say you wouldn't endorse him.
I don't know that I would endorse him after some of the comments he's made. I don't believe that you need a leader of the student body who says that one specific group matters more than everyone else. And then I have personally on social media been attacked by him and his people, and I don't feel that the university deserves a leader who is going to be a cyberbully, in a sense.
I'm running for president because I've had a lot of experience in student government. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've seen it can do a lot of good on campus, but I also have found a lot of places where student government can do better. I think a lot of the things we do them because we've always done them, not because we know it's what's the best for our students. So I want to take that experience I've had and use it to improve student government from within. I think it's useful, and I think it'll give me a chance to, on day one, begin without any on-the-job training. I know what needs to be done. So I find that the primary purpose of the student body president is to be the first, the best, the biggest connection between a student and those who can make decisions at the university. That's the real role. There are a lot of other side parts to that, but the biggest thing we do is connecting students, their problems, their ideas, their solutions, with those who can actually make the decisions and make things happen. I do want students to know that there isn't an issue that happens at this university that doesn't affect them in some way. And what I mean by that is, if it's something like the tuition, if it's something like the parking, if it's the meal plans, I mean, you name it, they can't escape the influence of these decisions. So whether they necessarily feel compelled at first glance to think that, student government, does that affect me or not? I would articulate to them, it really does. And the only chance you get to have, influence over who is in these positions of influence and connecting you to these administrators is right now.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of Weekend Preview. I'm Kara.
This is kind of what we use to kind of process all of that and just come together, because in times